Hey Gen Zs, welcome back to another video. We're talking all about the ingredients that go into a successful marriage. Obviously the channel over here, Gen Z, creating a generation of marriageable women. So I want us to continue talking about, what goes into a healthy marriage, what goes into a healthy partner, how can you become a healthy person, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Hey. So please, if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to hit thumbs up and obviously hit the subscribe button as well and come join the family. We are building a generation of marriageable women. Now let me pop today's video on the screen. It's all about Mr. J.R. Wilson, I believe. Mr. Jason O. Wilson. I always confuse his name with J.R. Wisdom because I've done his reaction before. But yeah, I absolutely love this man. Like him and his wife. Like what they are doing is so profound. If you don't know about them, I follow him on Instagram, and he's helping boys, men, just really become more grounded in themselves, fall in love again with themselves, because obviously society can discard men, and I just love what he is doing on his side of the pond. And this particular topic that him and his wife were talking about, I thought was so profound, because it's something that we have to continue talking about. Now, disclaimer is, if you aren't the type of person who's looking for marriage or is keen on marriage or whatever, this video isn't for you. I'm speaking to the woman, or not really the man, but I'm speaking to the woman who has that inner desire, inner yearning to be married, to have a companion, to have a partner, and I'm not talking partnership, I'm talking a spouse, a husband, a devoted provider, healthy, secure man. If that is your yearning, if that's your desire, then I think this one ingredient that Jason speaks about in this video with his wife, I think is absolutely key. So sorry for making this intro so long, but I wanted to build up the case to what it is that we're talking about, and I want it to be a conversation. So if you have anything to add to the conversation, please do so in the comments. I pretty much read all my comments and respond to them. I want us to continue to build a tribe here. So yeah, let's go. There's the video. 1 minute.
Man, how after 25 years of marriage, it's still work. It's still hard. It's still hard. So I just wanted to share how she got on my nerves yesterday, and how she had to apologize for just destroying the
I've heard a lot that people in marriage, the husband, the wife, both are just tired of doing the work. Like it's and we've asked each other this question, like, road. Should it be this hard? Like, it shouldn't be this hard. We've said that.
You've said that. I've never said that.
You know what you're saying? I don't know nobody that go to counseling as much as we do.
I do say that.
I don't know nobody.
I don't know anyone that go to counseling as much as we do. But
First of all, I love their sense of humor, and I think having humor really does help diffuse a tense environment and tense atmosphere, So picking a spouse who has a good sense of humor, or even being that spouse to yourself, being able to be lighthearted and unique about certain tense situation, atmosphere, environments, it really helps not add fuel to the fire. So although that they're talking about work being that key ingredient, always putting in the work, always showing up, always wanting to put in effort into the pot that is marriage. I love that, some of the other ingredients is sense of humor and, being able to laugh about your pain points. And so let's keep going.
Also, besides sacrifice, I would say selflessness, because we're at the dinner table having a good time, and then we have a discussion, and we had a disagreement. I said something that hurt her, she said something that hurt me, and we didn't communicate that at the table like we typically do.
Mm-hmm. We didn't work through it.
No.
And we sat there literally the rest of the night. We didn't say a word. And we rode home. We didn't say a word. I got in the bed.
Didn't say a word.
Turned the light off. Went to sleep. Woke up.
And I said a word.
He said a word.
We love you, Jason. We love you. And I know people are going to hear this and like, wow, how's that possible? Don't go to bed, angry and all of that. I've been there before where like you want to pull the words out, but you know that maybe the first word that comes out is just going to add more fuel to the fire. So sometimes it's just best to, process the words and the emotions, just so that what does come out of your mouth is, not going to add fuel, but water to the fire, And there's this thing where who is going to break first? Who's going to break the tension first? Who's going to swallow their ego? And I think sometimes I think they've been married for 25 years. But no matter how long you've been married, sometimes when you're in that disagreement, when you're facing something, all you see is now, not how long you've been with the person, not their good parts. It's just now that that threat, you see it as a threat, and you just want to fight, flight, freeze, fall in that moment, and your whole nervous system is in disarray. And I think in that moment, I don't think the first thing that we need to be thinking about is who's going to break first, whose fault it was, who started what. I think at that moment in time, it's just like, breathe, just breathe. And then the selflessness comes in, the meekness comes in, the humility comes in, the swallowing of the pride comes in. And it's like, let's just go back to the grassroots. So I know like when I was reading the comments, someone was like, yeah, but why does he have to do it first? And it's probably, maybe in this situation, he was the one that did it first. Maybe in other situations, she would have done it first. But it's this thing where we need to understand we're given 100% at all times. It's not, I'm going to meet you halfway and you're going to meet me halfway. Everyone's going to give their 100% when they can. And when they can't, and you have it in you to give 70%, you need to give that 70% as if it was your 100. And when the 30 comes on, like receive it with open arms. Like he isn't going around like, okay, well, I said it first, so next time you need to say it first. Just that cattiness, it turns a spouse against a spouse. As opposed to both couples, the union against the problem. And I think when we have disagreements with our partners, our spouses, whatever, we need to think about it as it's me and you against the problem, not me against you against, because we're both the problem. It's easier said than done, but I'm saying like when you take the time to breathe and learn how to self-regulate and self-soothe, maybe in the beginning it will take overnight, but that's okay. As long as you come back and understand that at the core of it all, we are still going to put the work in, we're still going to show up for each other. I think that is what the real recipe for a good marriage is. Let's continue. I'll add some of my own gems as well, because obviously newly married, again. But this time, when you are with a healthy and secure man, and I mean mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, it's a different kind of blessing. And it really helps when, you can be grounded and acknowledge that actually your partner's not a problem. It's just there's differences here. So what can I do to meet them in this moment? What can they do to meet me in this moment? And it's learning about how to understand your own needs. That's why I'm saying, ladies, it's so important to do the work in your singlehood. Being single is not a curse. It's one of the most fruitful moments of your life. Just getting to know yourself, getting to know your needs, your wants, how to articulate those things. Like, I'm like, babe, I love how you said, well, mom, I want more. Squeeze it. Babe, I want more kisses. Babe, I want more hugs. Babe, I would like more help here. And this, that, and other, and he does the same. And I think opening our mouth to say these things rather than having these expectations that a real man this, a real woman that, without communicating those, expectations, that is where we end up falling, and messing up great relationships. Anyway, let's keep going.
I refuse to let another day go by. Well, it went 2 hours. Because typically we're trying to reconcile.
That was different last night.
That one, we really did regret in that moment. And even in the evening, someone should have said something.
Nudge. You should, Miss Wilson. I love it.
Something. I mean, someone should have said something, but I said something. So man, I stepped up, and I didn't want to go another day, and that's a lot of guys say, man, how do you break the silence and break it?
Yeah, that's it. You just break it. And oh my God, I know, like my previous marriage, like I broke the silence all the time, because I did not want to go to bed with any anger in me, any resentment in me, any bitterness in me. So it was more of like I'm working, making sure that I'm centered, like I'm at peace regardless of what's going on with my partner. I needed to ensure that if I contributed to tension, or even if they had hurt me, just breaking that silence and saying, hey, you've hurt me, and in these ways, rather than just doing that passive aggressiveness, being petty, having that tension in the atmosphere, that wasn't good for me. And in comparison to what I have right now with my husband, it's absolutely amazing. We haven't yet gone, a long periods of time being silent with each other, because I feel safe with him, he feels safe with me, and it's something that we created whilst we were, getting ready for marriage, getting to know each other. We made sure that we spoke about our expectations, our standards, and even the things that we will do when we are upset with each other. So no matter how upset we are, we got to do it. We've got this ritual before bed, and we have to do that. And when we do that, it brings both of us into our bodies and into ourselves, to each other. And I absolutely love that.
Nice.
So I think that's something that, you can start practicing as well. Understanding what is your wants, what is your need. When you're angry or when you're upset with your partner, what is it? What is really under it? Because sometimes the surface thing isn't really what the issue is. Maybe at the bottom or at the core of everything, you're just feeling maybe left behind. Maybe you're feeling a little bit alone in the relationship. Maybe you're feeling a little bit like a second citizen. Is it second generation? I don't know. Second class citizen. Like you're not a main character in your partner's life. Maybe you're feeling all these things. Maybe you're feeling sad, upset, rejected. Maybe you just want more time with them. Maybe you want more touch. You need to be able to sit with those emotions. You need to be able to peel them back and say, I'm actually upset about X, Y, and Z because I actually want you to hug me a lot more. That was one of mine. I just wanted my husband to spend a little bit more time with me downstairs before we went upstairs. And I needed to get past the whole fussing around and be like, oh, this is what I need. I was able to pinpoint it whilst I was doing my breathing exercises, self-regulated, and, processing my emotions. And I was like, so this is what I do. You don't go in there passive aggressive saying you should be doing that as a real man. We need to spend. No, you just say, babe, I would like X, And I think just taking that time in our singleness or in our singlehood to understand these things, and even whilst we are married or are in our relationships, just stepping back, even articulating to our partners, hey, I need a bit of time to process my emotions, just so I can get to the core of what it is I actually need from you or even want in this moment. Being able to articulate that, give yourself time and then express it, is absolutely beautiful. But let's keep going.
Somebody has
to cross the line.
Somebody has to cross the line, and I appreciate you crossing the line. If it wouldn't have been Jay, it would have been me.
I've been mature enough. I know they're not going to hurt me.
Right.
Yeah, that is so, oh my God, this is so important. Like, if you've ever had past relationships that were traumatic, that were toxic, that were hurtful, being able to remind yourself that your new partner is not there to hurt you. Oh, this is so profound. Oh my God. I was even telling my husband yesterday, reminding myself that when you do X, Y, or Z, it's not because you're trying to hurt me. It's just we're getting to know each other, and I don't need to automatically interpret it as bad. I just need to take a curious approach and ask why. Most of the time, men don't even know they're doing what they're doing. But we are interpreting it, us women. We're building castles. Oh, this is the wheel here. And I think they have this thing called as a confirmation bias, where you have a mindset or you have a thought in your mind and your brain just goes on a hunt to further confirm that bias you already have in your mind. That's why it's so good to heal. That's why it's good to, get to know yourselves, your triggers and all of that, how your brain works, so that when you see that your brain is going on a hunt to build castles in the air, you can say, what we're not going to do is do that. Okay. We can just hold ourselves back and say, no, this is my brain doing that thing again. We need to rewire our brain and convince our brain that no, this person is healthy. This person's a safe place. He is not trying to hurt me. Because in actual fact, objectively, they aren't trying to hurt you. If you've picked properly. If you ain't picked properly, can't really comment about that. But if you know at the core of it all, when you're not in your triggers, when you're not in your feelings, you have a great man. When you are triggered, please push through all those negative thoughts that are spiraling through and just say, no, he is a good man. He is not trying to hurt me on purpose. That will help, calm your nervous system down. And then you can gently bring it up to your partner's attention that, hey, this that you did, this is how it was conveyed to me. This is how I interpreted. This is how it hurt me. Is that what you meant? Or, just let's have a conversation about that. And I think that brings a lot of closeness between two partners. So yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. I'm going to convey my heart. I'm a very processor now as a man. I don't have to yell or hit things to communicate. I can articulate how I felt, and you were able to hear my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa.
As you said, Jay, it's the journey, and it's never an arrival.
Yeah.
It will continue to be the journey.
I love that, because there's this notion that if they were the right person, it would be easy. Just think about what you've just said. Let's say you are this right person. It wouldn't be this hard. Just think about how difficult it is for you to even understand yourself, let alone a whole new person. So we need to be able to break those myths, because human beings, we are complicated, especially when we have different backgrounds and all of that. we have to understand that it's not a sprint. It's not, okay, when we get here, everything's going to be okay. It's the everyday, just learning to be present in this moment. When we are under threat, they've done something and you feel like, no, everything's going to, I hate them. Just calm that nervous system down. Get the blood flowing back into the brain. You will realize that when you're thinking objectively, it wasn't as bad as you thought. And then apply some curiosity and some grace, the same way you would want them to do it towards you. Just apply that gentleness towards them, because at the end of the day, they were an answered prayer at a time. So yeah, being able to apply that sense of grace to them, you will melt, you will melt. There we go.
At 25 years, at 30, and at 50, you're still going to be getting
Yes.
Yes.
Efficiently getting where you're strategically.
Yeah. Oh, that is the end of it. Oh, I love that so much. That was absolutely beautiful. I love the dynamic, and it helps me understand that, even after 25 years and this, that, and other, there will be stuff, like in marriages, in relationships, both of you will have issues, like interpersonal issues, and then the world will bring issues as well. Okay. So I feel like, I think and I believe in my spirit that if both people don't approach marriage, the institution, as, well, if they were the right person, that is when, we're pedestalizing our partners, like they're being the savior, or the savior, or the healer, our God. That's what's happening, because we don't want to do the work, or don't know how to do the work. So we're hoping that when we pedestalize them, they will then all of a sudden have all the solutions. But that is a recipe for disaster, because we're all humans. Only God can fill that void. So when you put a human being there, subconsciously, you're giving them all the power to your emotions and everything. You will be in disarray. So I would say, if you're single as a woman right now, the important thing, or what you need to focus on, is understanding that it's not a curse to be single, and two things can coexist. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be absolutely content in your singleness, making the most of it, and obviously, and in turn also have a longing or a desire or a yearning for a companion as well. Both of those things can exist at the same time, and I think you can pour into both of those things. You can be content being single and still be searching, okay, or making yourself available. But yeah, let me know what other ingredients you would add to a successful and healthy marriage or union. I want us to learn. I know that as we are building this generation of marriageable women, we're all learning here. So yeah, please do share it down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit thumbs up and hit the subscribe button as well. Come join the family. Until next time, take care and God bless. Bye.